Hello, everyone. Most times I gotta get this right to have the right facial feature because as I kind of stop the Zoom and up comes the Facebook, I don't know, my face looks always so crazy. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Jeanette Martin. I am the owner of this crazy company called MYBC Consulting, which stands for Move Your Bum Chump Consulting. And it's a company of connection, collaboration, and community. That's what I'm all about at my core. And my good friend that I'm interviewing tonight, Lachelle, America's Supermom, we're kindred spirits. I've been on about 2 months ago. I was on your podcast. She loves taking letters and making little poems out of it. Like I love taking letters and making I made a new one yesterday I want to share with you. So
Okay.
welcome, America's Supermom.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeanette. And, I serve alongside you as the VP of B Team All Stars. So
Yes.
I'm excited to be here this evening and love our conversations because you always get me thinking. I mean, we were talking about pens and pencils before this. So we never
Yes.
know where it's going to take us.
Yeah, exactly. We were one of our friends, Kira, has as you wish publishing. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's As You Wish
Yeah.
publishing. We were talking about I have a book idea, and she said within weeks, or it could be up and ready to go. So that's how quickly a book can come to life. And then there's the book that we're going to be talking about with America's Supermom, Lachelle. She's done a collaboration style book. So the name of the book, by the way, Lifting Up. We're kindred spirits right there. Uplifting and motivational stories from extraordinary women, not just ordinary women, extraordinary women. Inspirational Women of the World. Started Dawn Evans and Tracy, I don't know how to, Somolinsky.
There
So
you go.
you're in that book. So how did you get involved with that book?
Facebook group. I want to say the power of connection and community. So I actually knew Tracy. I had a business coach in the UK about a year and a half ago. And one of our activities was she had people that would come in, pour into us. Tracy has a networking business. And so she
Mm.
came and did a presentation, talked to us about the power of networking and building business. And one of the things she said is once you start meeting people, keep nurturing that relationship. So I kept
Mm.
nurturing it. She actually went to visit Sir Richard Branson and went to Necker Island. So, I just would always support her, promote her stuff. And when COVID hit, she would do a lot of events, live events, because she worked with networking with different companies and organizations. So when that hit, they had to be on lockdown. So they had just planned her and Dawn to do a women's type of event, live event, and they couldn't do it in person. So they decided to start a Facebook group. So when they
Okay.
started that Facebook group, I was one of the people in the group. We were just actively growing it organically. And we would have Zoom calls on Friday. So it was like a happy hour type thing. We'd get together, talk about our, stories, who we were. And everybody's story was so inspiring. We'd have different people every Zoom. And one of those calls, someone said, we should write a book. So
Oh.
that's what we did. We decided to collaborate and do it. And, Tracy is a person of action, her and Dawn. They immediately got a publisher, someone who was in the community, and the rest is history. So we were able to get it done. And one thing about it is, this was a global project. I was the only author from the United States. Everyone else was from all over Malaysia. We've had people all different places. I don't even want to get all the areas mixed up.
Wow. So that's the history of the book. I want to pause there for a second because we have
Hmm.
about 20 minutes to we're chitty chat. I'm in my kitchen. It's a girls' party right now. We're
Yeah.
having a kitchen party. I know you're in your office, but we're having a kitchen party right now. Is let's learn a little bit about your hearse story. So your hearse story is fascinating. So let's find out about Lachelle Aikens, first of all, as growing up and then becoming America's supermom. How did that happen? And if I wanted to become a supermom, how would I do it? So let's talk about your
Absolutely.
first story.
Yeah, that's a lot. The first thing is I was an only child. Okay. So
Oh,
we've got the America's Supermom where mother of 15. So quite a transition. I was raised an only child, high achiever. Academics was something that my mom really pushed for me. She was one of 12. So she
oh,
was the third oldest, first one to go to college and graduate, get a degree, and the rest is history with that. But from her humble beginnings, she felt education was something she pushed in me. So I was on that high achiever path, perfectionist somewhat. And it was fine. It had me on that mission of going to school, going to college, get a good job and have your career, get married, two kids, white picket fence, a dog and a cat. And when I went to college, and I just remember being an only child, I didn't want to be a mom who had the career because I really wanted to be a corporate attorney. So,
okay.
I had my first daughter before I graduated from college. So my husband and I weren't married yet. And it was at that point that I made the decision that, I really couldn't see myself with my work ethic being a mom that I really felt that I wanted to be while trying to do those two things at the same time. So it was at that point that we made the decision for me to stay home. And needless to say, the family just kept growing. But with that, it was a lot of uh, kind of challenges because everybody I knew and could identify with were all on this career path, where
Mm,
it's like, hey, this is what we're doing. Everyone was working, starting their career. And here I was with no roadmap, not anything to do. My mom was an entrepreneur. So no one really could give me advice on what it was like to stay home and, what that looked like. So the only example I had was the soap operas, and they're flying overseas to shop, nannies, and all that. And that definitely wasn't my story. So, it was really kind of hard because I wanted to be there to teach my kids education. I was really strong with that. And then my husband was in the military as well as being a pastor, and he had a lot of his career in retail. So he was gone a lot for holidays, weekends, all that kind of stuff. He had to work. So it required me to really bear a lot of the responsibility of not just being a stay home mom, but pretty much like a mom who is doing everything because he would leave and the kids were asleep. He would get home and the kids were asleep.
mm,
So a lot of that running around, doing all these things really was on me. And during that time, I was dealing with depression for a period of 13 years.
mm.
And I really didn't know that I was depressed. I also, during that time, I was hospitalized 3 times for the depression. And I think it really was, it wasn't on my radar. For me, depression looked like staying in the bed, not wanting to get up and do anything. So when I'm like going to soccer, field trips, PTA and class mom and all these different responsibilities, I thought, I'm getting stuff done. How could I be depressed? But that feeling of unfulfillment, of just not being happy and not knowing why. On the outside, everybody would compliment us. The kids would be making good grades in school, well behaved. All those things were good. But, as everybody gave me a compliment, it was just like, why am I feeling like this? They're
Mm.
giving me these nice words, and I still feel like, something is missing. And it was after my last hospitalization that I just said, this is just not going to work. I had a victim mindset, kind of like, You know, it's like when you're deciding you're going to do something different, you try it for a while and then you revert back to your same patterns. And
Yeah.
so, in really examining these hospitalizations, I just saw this is a pattern. You know, I can't blame my kids and husband and circumstances. I need to take accountability. So, it was at that point that I stopped watching the news, got off social media, really didn't watch a lot of TV or anything, but just kind of got to the point where I asked myself some real deep, hard questions. You know, I've learned that I was people pleasing, that I was feeling like a failure every day. So, you know, just going back in time, remembering that, you know, I was very self motivated about my academics. If I had a goal, I would just map out a plan and do it. I had a very strong work ethic. So every day I would start with a list of things that I wanted to do. Let's say it's seven and I only get two. Well, then I'd take those other five, pile it on the next day, and keep doing that every day. So you're starting off already not enough sleep or whatever deficit it is with this big list. And so it wasn't until later on that I figured out this is crazy.
Yeah,
I'm putting more.
yeah, just if we can pause there for a second, it does sound a little crazy.
Mhm,
Um, wow, there's so much there that I want to unpack,
mhm,
because when we are out, we're both professional women in what we do, and there's that moment when we are in front of people or are in front of our clients or doing an event, or I was do trade shows for a lot of my customers and demos, and it's like hauling in all my stuff, and then it's like 12 o'clock. If it was a 12 to 4 demo, it was like showtime, and it was just like whatever that comic or Marcel, it's like, like you gotta put it on. You gotta always gotta be on and on fire and on fire and on fire. And people just think that that's how we are all the time.
mhm,
And with social media, and I'm so glad that you brought up social media. As you know, I love and adore social media for good. I've been listening to Buddha and the Badass on audio, and
mhm,
he says my big goal is to teach people the P's and Q's, the manners of using social media for good,
mhm.
and how we treat each other in reality to treat each other on social media. So I'm so glad you brought that up, and what it took for you to get centered again and take control. So from there, where did you go with your journey of wholeness? And what's the chapter in the book? Your chapter called?
Chapter 10 is my life mass free.
Oh my
So,
gosh! So yeah,
yeah,
let's go. Let's continue. This is fascinating.
yeah. So, you know, it was at that time where I realized, you know, I'm piling more stuff, you know, so each day it was like, you know, I'm starting off with a bigger mountain. Okay. I don't know
Mm,
what the rationale was because I just kept piling more things on it. But, you know, that was my history where it's like, if I didn't get it done, I can just make up for it tomorrow. And it just didn't register to me that a lot of the things that were on that list were things that were out of my control. See, I was an individual only child responsible for my own success. And you add on, okay, not just my laundry, but all the kids' laundry, not just my dishes, everybody's dishes, not just, you know, my meal, everybody's meal. And you're multiplying this by some very large numbers. And my level of expectation about it being done with excellence.
mm,
So that alone was just stressful, right? And the pressure, and then not even knowing what to expect being an only child. You know, so the whole thing was like I was learning curve on top of these high standards that I had to learn it with perfection that I put on myself. So after I realized that, I thought, you know, I'm people pleasing. I am putting these unrealistic expectations on myself, and just a number of things just really kind of came full circle once I was able to have that space because For me, life was, I don't have time to think about an excuse. It's like, we got to get this done. My husband's not here. They need whatever. So let's just get it done. So I was on autopilot. I was just in this mode of survival that, it's like having a spare tire. You have a flat tire, you get a spare on there. Your spare is only for a temporary fix till you get another tire put on. But it was like I'm driving around with spare tires, thinking
Mm,
that my tires are full. And just the mindset now looking back, it was the idea of thinking I was even pouring into others from a full cup when it was really empty, and I wasn't taking the time to refill my own cup. I just kept pouring every day and nothing was coming out. Okay. So I had learned after this long journey, okay, 13 years, that hey, something's not right here. So I created a strategy that I coined Fresh Start, and it was an acronym for 5 pillars that helped me overcome that depression and maintain a life depression free. And that was the basis for me to start my journey with life coaching. And
I
during
like.
that time, that really was a nice way to stay grounded. I felt like when it comes to a lot of different situations with depression, just from what I've observed, it's a lot of trying to fit into somebody else's mold. And for me, that just wasn't working. I had to have the freedom to really embrace who I was, to really accept that I was responsible for a lot of these decisions, right? I had to come to terms with that and have that awareness. And it wasn't until I had that I had the freedom to not seek validation from other people and have the confidence to step into the truth of what I had done or didn't do based on the decisions I made.
That is so beautiful. So how now have you carved out time for yourself so your children know that it's mommy filling her cup time?
Hmm.
So I have lots to be able to fill your cups with. So how do you manage that? And how did you manage writing your chapter for this book
Yeah.
as well?
So Um, the first thing is that self care is a non negotiable. It is like
Okay.
oxygen to me. So I love the analogy, put your oxygen mask on first on the airplane, and then you can help others, because when you do that, you're coming from a space and an energy from what it is that you want to give. So oftentimes I was exhausted, tired, but it was more out of an obligation that I was doing things.
Mm,
Whereas now, I make a choice every day to be happy. Now, every day is not going to be the same. Every day is not going to be phenomenal, right? However, because there's going to be things that are outside of your control, but you can determine how you're going to respond to these things. It has really given me a lot of clarity about, something as simple as life and death, because, I realized that we all are born and we're all going to die. There was a period that I was attached to the story that, oh, it's so bad when we die. It's like a curse, or, they were
mm,
so young. But if you go into it and okay, I have an expiration date. So I think I'm going to live my life to the fullest and do what I want to do, and not get discouraged by telling yourself a lie that you're going to live forever.
mm.
Once you kind of accept the fact that, okay, I'm going to be dying one day, then that just takes the pressure off. It's not like you're like, it's today the day or whatever. So that really has given me a lot of clarity. So with it being a non-negotiable, I do it first thing in the morning. I get up
Okay.
like, between 5 and 5:30. Love getting up early because it's that time that I can spend at least 2 hours before my kids get up, and just be able to fill my cup up, doing the things that I want to do when it's quiet, and then be able to be in a better place and just kind of be intentional and help them with their intentions for the day. So that's the thing when it comes to that. And you asked me another question about.
How did you set time to write your book? So did you write your section of the book within that 2-hour time frame in the morning?
Actually, I am a journal writer.
Oh,
So,
okay.
love writing in journals. I mean, I would just be, I don't know how many books that I have around here that I have written in. It's crazy. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's the same thing like breathing, writing things down. I love to create content, just a number of things that really, I love motivational quotes. I love to make them up. I love acronyms. I mean, I just am constantly in that mode. So, it's all about being able to capture those things and
Yes.
deciding, what it is that you want to say. So, I have tons of different things that are around. I mean, I probably have about, I don't know how many books that I probably could write because I'm all about getting those ideas out. There's something with writing them down that once you embrace that, it helps you take action and helps you evolve every day. And so that's the thing that really inspires me to keep writing and to keep moving forward.
There's something that to dial it back even a
Hmm.
little further. We're kindred spirits, I know, because before we came on, we were talking about journals, and I have journals all over I carry a little one in my purse. I have one at my door. If I have to step 3 or 4 steps and there's not a book for me to write in, the thought process is gone. And I think, no, not I think, I know my love of honoring creativity is honoring the brain and the time that when you took to read that book, and if you don't put that new knowledge into action, you're not honoring the person who took the time to share that thought process, to share themselves. And you invested, you got your cup of tea, you got in the corner of the couch, and you're reading that book. And then especially if it's something really that you're very interested, like you purposely or intentfully, to quote you, intentfully went and got that book about that subject. And you went, okay, it's me, it's Saturday, we're tucking into the couch, we're reading this book. And then you put the book aside and then you do nothing with what you just read. It's like, wow, what a dishonoring way to not live a purposeful life. And I love when you said about the expiration date. The first thing that came to my mind is, that jug of milk that says it's going to go bad in such and such a date. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to sneak a little bit over that date. I know it's still tasty after that date. So I'm going to keep stretching that date. And I've got a lot more creativity left in me in order for, oh, that milk. Oh no, that's just a suggestion. So I'm going to live this life even bigger and much, much bigger. Wow.
This is my little pouch. So I have a little pouch since we've had this pandemic. I don't really carry a purse around, but this is what's in there. I have my credit cards, but I have to have something to write down notes everywhere I go. So I'm with you on writing stuff down. I mean, because ideas come. I think that's the thing is,
There's mine.
see
With
what
it,
I'm
even
saying?
I found a little flat pen that will fit inside. So
Yeah.
gotta have, gotta
But
have.
I think I have learned to master the ideas that come now. See, I've given myself space to have that. Before
Mm.
I was so um it was the inner voice that was negative, that was telling me what I couldn't do, how bad things were. But the minute you get rid of that, you choose to replace it with something else. And if you allow your creativity and curiosity to take over, every day that's something new that you can capture and write down. So, but it's about intention though.
Yep.
See, I intend to be happy. I intend to have a positive attitude. So, I ask myself questions, which I think is key, rather than telling myself stuff that doesn't serve me anymore, you know.
Well, that's the I in my lifting up system is your intentions. Got to get clear with your
Hmm.
intentions. Bring in your
Mm-hmm.
networks to get your goals in life. So I'm gonna wrap it up with my little quote that I came up with yesterday. I'm in a coaching session with Marshall Stern, with eight other ladies from all over North America, and this came to me. It's like we have to make it easy. That's when we say we got to make it easy for our customers. When your customer sends you a request for how much is such and such, you don't want to just send them to your website. No, you want to let them know that it's $9.99. It comes in a bulk, whatever the information. Don't make your customers work when it's your job to work. So I took that make it easy, and that word easy. Are you? Oh, look at that. She's grabbing her pen. I love you. You're amazing.
I got some paper right here.
So the E stands for excellence. Excellent.
Okay. Okay.
The A stands for accessible. The S stands for solution. And the Y, of course, stands for yes. So we want to make it easy for our customers. And my hope tonight is I made it easy for you to share your story. It's something that I can do with this amazing lady, Miss Lachelle, America's Supermom, to share her story. And your last words. You have the last words, my friend.
Well, one, I just want to say, I can't wait to meet you in person. This is just, I love how you have these connections with people that I just never would have thought that we had so much in common, when we first met at V Team. So I just think that is so ironic. And the fact that you never know who is going to be a good connection for you. You can never judge a book by its cover. Okay. I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. I have learned so much from so many of my connections that my life is so much richer that it would not have been this way if it wasn't for this pandemic. That's the silver lining that I see. So I think, don't make assumptions about things. Always dream big. And if it's not big enough to scare you, then dream bigger because, life is, it's exciting. It should be motivating. You should be enthusiastic. If you think about kids and how they play in the rain or, they pretend, that they are playing cops and robbers, they just use their imagination. And over time in life, we lose that. We get conditioned to bury our voices and conform to things that don't serve us. If you're creative, you're trying to be analytical, because that's what most people are in your class or whatever, your teachers that way. So they try to conform you to be that way. But when you recognize your own strengths and gifts and have the confidence to be able to express them, that helps you to be a better version and it helps other people be a better version of themselves. And your light shines so much brighter. So that's what I would say.
Perfect last words. Thank you so much. You know that I make relationships in my life so I can come sleep on people's couches. Just so
All
you're
right.
aware, I had a
Hey.
I had a meeting with somebody in Australia, and I said, if I know you have a couch, I'm going to come and stay because I love to travel and meet people in person. And I love that you said this is definitely the silver lining, and we get to have a touch of gold afterwards with these incredible connections. Guys, grab a book, grab your favorite author, nonfiction, fiction. Grab Lachelle's book. It's up on the MYBC Consulting virtual bookstore.
Absolutely.
Remember, when you do purchase it, a little bit goes back to the authors as well, so they can keep their creative spirit going. Be the steward of somebody else's creativity and watch the magic happen in your life. So thank you so much, Miss Lachelle. I will see you tomorrow at noon my time, 3 p.m. your time at our VT meeting. From President Jeanette, from Vice
Vice
President.
President. Yeah.
Shall we say, no, I can't be a president in the United States because I'm Canadian. You're American. We're going to be the president of our own
Hey,
world.
we're creative, girl. We can make this world any way we want. Okay.
Exactly. The big blue marble. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And stay tuned for next Tuesday. We've got another author coming up. Lachelle, I'm booked until the end of July. No, the end of June with all these authors. So I'm so excited
I'm
to
excited.
learn.
And I have another one for you. We'll talk offline.
Oh, awesome. Hey, everybody, have a good Tuesday night, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.